Right then, Blades family, brace yourselves because today's news is absolutely massive. An experienced center back arrives on a free from Brentford, and in his debut as a starter, he shows exactly what's been missing from our side. Clean sheet, man of the match, and that leader's presence this young squad has been screaming out for. Over 400 career appearances, for seasons in the Championship, knowing exactly how to navigate this relentless division. Whilst Sheffield United were drowning with 3 points from 7 matches at the bottom, we finally got someone who knows how to organize the defense, steady the nerves of the lads, and bring that dressing room experience. That simply doesn't show up in statistics. Stick around till the end because I'm going to show you why this signing could be the difference between escaping relegation or sinking without trace, and more. Plot twist that'll leave you, supporters, absolutely gobsmacked. Subscribe now and smash that like button, because this analysis will make you understand everything. Benmi isn't simply a shrewd signing. He's the bitter medicine we should have taken seasons ago. And I'll go further. It's the implicit admission that we failed strategically in composing our squad during critical months. That performance against Oxford United at the Castle Stadium was a masterclass in what over 400 professional appearances can provide to a side desperate for direction. Clean sheet on his debut as a starter, man of the match award, and more important than any statistic, a presence that radiated authority with every interception, every instruction to younger teammates, every moment of pressure when things could have fallen apart. Chris Wilder got his spot on bringing to me at the end of the summer transfer window, after the defender was released by Brentford at the end of the 2024-25 season. The signing of Danny Ings in the same window complemented this strategy of injecting experience and leadership into a dangerously young and naive squad. Jimmy, our passionate commentator, perfectly captured the essence of this necessity when he said, "It's been a while since we've had leaders in our team. We've got a very young team, and I think the addition of Benmi and Danny Ings as well brings a lot of experience to the dressing room, something we were lacking." This simple statement hides a devastating truth. We allowed our squad to bleed youth without the necessary support structure. And here's my uncomfortable provocation that needs saying. Why did we wait until we were rooted to the bottom of the Championship with just 3 points from 7 matches to seek out this dressing room wisdom? Why didn't we identify this critical deficiency during the summer? Well, we still had time to structure the squad properly. The answer, I fear, points to planning failures that go beyond the pitch. Leadership is intangible. Doesn't appear in advanced performance graphs, heat maps, or XG metrics, but it determines whether a young side sinks under pressure or emerges resilient from adversity. Me demonstrated this masterfully at the Castle Stadium, not just with his solid defending and impeccable positioning, but with his ability to calm frayed nerves and organize defensive units that had been leaking goals week after week. His for seasons defending for Burnley in the Championship provided exactly the type of experience we need now. Deep knowledge of how to navigate this brutally competitive division, how to manage moments of crisis, how to extract results even when performances aren't perfect. That's pure gold in our current situation. Me's heat map shows his tactical versatility, capable of operating as a central defender on the left side, but also supporting left midfield and occasionally pushing forward into attacking positions. During set pieces, this positional intelligence, this reading of the game refined by years of experience at the highest level, is precisely what was missing from our defensive system. But let's get to what really matters. This is the difference between technical competence and excellence in the Championship. Talented youngsters can execute tactical instructions when everything's going well. Experienced veterans like me know how to stabilize situations when chaos threatens to consume everything. They know when to hold the tempo, when to accelerate, when to shout at teammates, when to put an arm round a shaken youngster's shoulder. The 1-0 victory against Oxford wasn't aesthetically brilliant, but it was functional and desperately needed. Our first win after 7 consecutive league defeats, and me was absolutely central to that result, anchoring a defense that finally kept a clean sheet for the first time this season. Jimmy also highlighted something crucial. Benmi is a leader both on and off the pitch, so it's great to have him with us. But when he stepped onto the pitch against Oxford, he demonstrated why he was a leader. He led by example, as well as being an off-field leader. This dual impact in the dressing room during the week and on the grass for 90 minutes is exponentially more valuable than any individual metric can capture. And now Jimmy's optimistic that Meek can offer that stability regularly. I think it's one of those intangible factors that are really difficult to measure in terms of the impact he can have. While he also played well on the pitch, won man of the match, so I'm hoping he'll be a Sheffield United starter this season, because I think it's going to help us climb the table. Meek couldn't replicate the feat. With another victory against Southampton the following Tuesday, we lost it to 1 at home, but the early signs indicate he could be an extremely valuable signing for the Blades. Even in defeat, the defensive performance was infinitely superior to the shameful displays from the opening rounds, particularly that 5-0 humiliation against Ipswich Town. The question now isn't whether Meek can make a difference. He's already proved he can. The question is whether we've got enough players of that mental stature around him to transform improved performances into consistent points, because 3 points from 8 matches isn't a problem that a single player, however experienced, can solve alone. Now about Tuesday night against Southampton. Brace yourselves, because I'm going to let rip without filters. Adam Herchik produced one of the most incompetent, most bewildering, most damaging refereeing performances I've witnessed at Bramall Lane in recent years. And I'm not being dramatic or tribal. I'm being rigorously factual. Let's look at the evidence that built this night of systematic frustration. City Peck's disallowed goal was absolutely scandalous. A young midfielder scores his first goal for the club after a perfectly executed set piece, the type of set played at elite sides like Arsenal are praised for mastering, and the referee invents non-existent contact. Wilder was spot on in his post-match outburst. You've seen it with Arsenal. They get praised for their set pieces. Wilder's analysis of the sequence deserves quoting in full. We analysed what we felt was a weak point in their game, defending that area of the goal. Our delivery was good. Every part of that sequence of events was good. There's contact in the box everywhere, and a young midfielder scores his first goal. For the football club that should have stood, that's top-level tactical preparation being undone by incompetent refereeing. The potential red card for Joshua Corsi for clattering Chioa being from behind when he was trying to escape, completely ignored. The phantom penalty in the first half that's never a penalty in a million years. In Wilder's precise words, given without hesitation. The yellow card that should have been shown to Adam Armstrong, not brandished. Ben Mee's clean tackle incorrectly flagged as a foul. Another inexplicable decision. That's 6 major controversial decisions in a single match. 6. This isn't bad luck or subjective interpretation. It's a systematic pattern of incompetence that fundamentally prejudiced the outcome of a crucial match for a side fighting against relegation. But here's what infuriates me beyond the individual decisions, and this is where my analysis goes beyond the superficial. The PGMOL's appointment system. Wilder raised an absolutely legitimate question that should be generating heated debates throughout the championship. Why is a referee whose recent experience is predominantly in league to officiating a top-caliber clash between Sheffield United and Southampton? Look at the facts. Herchik refereed his last league match the previous weekend. He hasn't been a regular presence in the championship over the last 2 seasons, and yet he was appointed to officiate a match between a club just relegated from the Premier League, Southampton, and another that reached the playoff final last season. Wilder's frustration with the system is palpable and completely justified. Look at the referee's history. If they're up-and-coming referees, why hasn't the referee had more championship games this season than the 1 or 2 he's had? This is a team that's come out of the Premier League and got incredibly close to getting into the Premier League last season. This is a top-level championship game, regardless of league position, and then comes the devastating provocation. It feels like, I'll tell you what we'll do is stick him at Bramall Lane and see if he gets on all right, if he's okay, and if he can handle a really loud home crowd. And in that respect, sometimes, naturally, people think, I'm going to Bramall Lane with 27, 28, 29,000 people there. I need to show my personality. I need to understand the game. I need to show that I'm involved in the game. And I think we all know from our own experience that the best ones are those who go unnoticed. Well, certainly, he didn't go unnoticed on Tuesday night. This analysis is surgical. Wilder's suggesting we're being used as a testing ground for developing referees. That Bramall Lane, with nearly 30,000 passionate supporters, serves as a laboratory to assess whether referees can handle pressure. That's unacceptable for a club of our stature, with our history, with our aspiration. Wilder also questioned why Premier League referees didn't officiate midweek matches. Early in the season, why wouldn't a Premier League referee a midweek game? We're at the start of the season. I know a lot of Premier League referees, and I'm sure they would have enjoyed a Tuesday night refereeing session to keep themselves fit as well. No Premier League referee has refereed on a Tuesday night so far, and I'm sure they weren't all in Europe. These are legitimate questions that deserve transparent answers from PGMOL. But, as always, we'll probably encounter only institutional silence. Now, about Wilder's red card at halftime. He was sent off for inadvertently kicking a loose ball towards the stand, striking a supporter. His frustration with the deluge of dreadful decisions was understandable. He immediately apologized to the affected supporter. There was no deliberate violence, intentional disrespect, or confrontation with officials. And yet, straight red card. Wilder was forced to watch the second half from the stands whilst his team, who were leading 1-0 with a Tyrese Campbell goal, succumbed to Southampton's comeback with 2 Ross Stewart goals. Wilder's reaction perfectly captures the disproportion. I've had notable people in football, who I consider friends and respect for what they've achieved, who were baffled about getting a card, let alone a red card. The ball rolls to me, and I return it back to where it came from, without any ceremony. Unfortunately, the ball's a bit loose, but you saw straight away my reaction. Yes, I'm disappointed because I couldn't help the team in the second half. From the position I wanted to be in, referee Stephen Martin, a top-class championship referee, was present as fourth official. Why wasn't he the main referee? Another question without a satisfactory answer from the appointment system. Chris Wilder categorically confirmed he'll appeal any suspension imposed for the red card against Southampton. And you know what? He's absolutely, unquestionably correct in doing so. His statement was crystal clear. If I approached the referee at halftime and attacked him forcefully, if I took the ball from my hands and kicked it at him, at the fourth official, at their players, at their bench, or booted it into the stand, then I'd expect the necessary punishment that accompanies that, and I won't appeal. But I will appeal because, as you saw, I dismissed it with indifference, and he's got a pamphlet. The logic is irrefutable. Wilder didn't confront officials, didn't attack anyone, didn't demonstrate deliberate violence. He kicked a ball carelessly, it caught an involuntary hook, and he immediately corrected the situation. I went straight to the stand, apologized to the bloke, everything was sorted, and when I turned round, I got a red card in my face. The disproportion of the punishment is glaring when compared to infinitely more serious infractions we see treated with yellow cards or even going unpunished every week in the championship. This inconsistency in applying punishments erodes the credibility of the entire disciplinary system. Wilder's determined to be on the bench for the crucial match against Hull City. I believe in the charge. If there is a charge, and I'm not expecting one, but if there is one, I will appeal and I'll be fine for the Hull City game and back where I want to be. Because I didn't like not being able to help the team. I need to be honest here, and this is where my journalism demands balance. Even when my supporter's heart wants total defense, Wilder should have greater emotional control. In an ideal world, 58-year-old managers don't boot balls towards the stands, even when frustrated by scandalous refereeing. Professional maturity demands that, but context matters immensely. 7 consecutive defeats to start the season. Visibly biased refereeing prejudicing his side systematically. Young players finally showing character and being denied deserved rewards by incompetent decisions. Emotion is human. Disproportionate punishment is institutional. The bigger question this exposes, and here's my most scathing editorial analysis, is about consistency criteria in the championship. If Wilder's action deserves a straight red and potential suspension, we need to see exactly the same standard applied universally to all managers in similar situations. And everyone who follows English football knows that doesn't happen. We see managers confronting officials aggressively, invading pitches, gesticulating violently, and receiving yellows or verbal warnings. This selective inconsistency in applying rules is corrosive. It creates perception, justified or not, that certain clubs, certain managers, certain situations receive differential treatment. And when you're Sheffield United, rooted to the bottom of the table, with recent history of conflicts with refereeing, that perception solidifies into conviction. Wilder also signaled he'll challenge the system itself if the suspension is confirmed. Arguing PGMOL needs to explain their appointment criteria and why clubs like ours frequently receive less experienced referees in crucial matches. That's exactly the type of institutional pressure we need to apply. The brutal reality is this: Sheffield United have lost 7 of the first 8 league matches. We're absolutely rooted to the bottom with just 3 points. Every questionable refereeing decision, every disproportionate suspension, every match lost by minimal margins has potentially catastrophic consequences for our future. We're not fighting for the title or playoffs. We're battling to avoid sinking into League One. In that context, fairness and consistency aren't philosophical luxuries. They're existential necessities. Let's get to what really matters, because I've got no patience for waffle or unfounded optimism. Sheffield United are at an existential crossroads that will define not just this season, but potentially the next few years of our club. BRAMALL represents tangible hope, the promise that with intelligent veterans, solid tactical structure under Wilder, and the right mentality, we can climb from this humiliating position at the bottom. The performance against Southampton, despite the frustrating result, was probably our best of the season so far. Organized, combative, creating genuine chances. That means something concrete. But let's be brutally honest. We can't use poor refereeing as a perpetual crutch to justify failure. Yes, we were hard done by against Southampton. Yes, PGMOL's appointment system has serious problems that Wilder rightly exposed. But truly great sides with winners' mentality, find ways to overcome adversity and win even when prejudiced. We need that resilience consistently, not sporadically. 3 points from 8 matches isn't the position of a side that will recover easily. The -11 goal difference reflects deep deficiencies that go beyond bad luck or poor refereeing. Just 2 goals scored in 8 matches is a genuine offensive crisis. The victory against Oxford United finally put points on the board and broke that terrifying sequence of 7 consecutive defeats. But one swallow doesn't make a summer. We need to build positive sequences, accumulate points quickly, and transform improved performances into tangible results. The central question that keeps me awake at night, and should keep all thinking supporters equally sleepless, is this: will we have enough time for this rebuild to bear fruit before it's too late? Because Wilder's clearly doing the right things, brought an experienced leadership with me and Ings, is adjusting the mentality of a squad broken by 7 defeats, is demanding higher standards, is challenging unjust systems. But the championship's relentless calendar waits for no one. Each passing round with negative results exponentially increases pressure and reduces margin for error. We're in October. If we reach November still in the relegation zone, institutional panic might begin eroding the rebuilding project Wilder's trying to implement. Here's my final editorial analysis. The provocation now rankle, but needs saying. This Sheffield United are paying the price for multiple strategic planning failures. Why didn't we bring in experienced leadership like me at the start of the window? Why did we allow the squad to begin the season without the necessary mental structure? Why did Ruben Sell's dismissal take so long when warning signs were evident? These questions have no satisfactory answers, and this absence of answers reveals governance failures that go beyond the pitch. Now, the uncomfortable questions I need to ask you lot. Do you genuinely believe me and the veterans we've brought in will stabilize this ship in time? Or did we wait desperately too long to make obvious decisions that any external observer identified months ago? And about the refereeing, crucial question: are we being paranoid tribalists? Or is there genuinely a worrying and documentable pattern of differential treatment? Because if we're being used as a testing ground for inexperienced referees in crucial matches, as Wilder suggested with concrete evidence, that's absolutely unacceptable for a club of our historic stature and aspiration. Herchik had predominantly refereed in League Two before our match. Stephen Martin, an experienced and respected championship referee, was present as 4th official, but didn't referee. Why? Who makes these decisions? Based on what criteria? And why do clubs like Sheffield United seem to disproportionately receive less experienced referees at critical moments? These are questions that deserve transparent institutional answers from PGMOL, and if we don't receive them, we probably won't, because transparency isn't exactly these organization's strong suit. Then Wilder's absolutely correct in challenging the system publicly. The 2020-25 season ended in brutal heartbreak to the 1 defeat to Sunderland in the playoff final at Wembley before 82,718 people. We were 1 match from the Premier League. Now we're rooted to the bottom of the championship, fighting to avoid sinking into League One. The fall has been vertiginous and shocking, but long seasons offer redemption opportunities for sides with character. The definitive question is, have we got that collective character? Or is this squad too mentally fractured to recover? Me offers hope. The performance against Southampton offers hope. Wilder's return offers hope. But hope without execution is just fantasy. We need to transform positive signs into points, points into sequences, sequences into escape from the danger zone. The match against Hull City on the 4th of October at 12:30 is absolutely crucial. Wilder needs to be on the bench. The side needs to build on the Oxford victory. Me needs to continue bringing defensive stability. And we desperately need to find offensive consistency. 2 goals in 8 matches simply won't keep us in this division. Now, I demand to know from you lot in the comments, and I want brutal honesty, not performative optimism. Where will we be in May? Will we save ourselves from relegation? Is me the catalyst for genuine change or just a temporary plaster on deeper wounds? And should the board be answering publicly for the strategic decisions that put us in this position? Comment with your considered analyses, not emotional reactions. I want intelligent debate that goes beyond trust Wilder or we're stuffed. Analyze tactically, strategically, psychologically, where are the real problems and what are the realistic solutions? Subscribe to the channel now, activate the bell for all notifications, and share this video with every thinking supporter you know. Sheffield United's future depends on an engaged, informed, demanding fan base willing to question when necessary. We don't need conformists. We need supporters who love the club enough to demand excellence at all levels, players, manager, board, and yes, referee and systems too. Let's build this debate together with seriousness and informed passion, because our Sheffield United deserves infinitely more than mediocrity disguised as bad luck. See you in the next video, where I'll continue bringing analyses you won't find on superficial channels. Come on, Blades, but come on with eyes wide open to reality.